Hi, welcome to She Spice. Child Sylvester Stallone and Jaguar Wright, who might have felt that the names of these two famous people would be referenced in a similar section. First off, they don't have a place with a similar industry. Stallone is a commended entertainer whose rough establishment is the symbol of 80s Hollywood. Wright, then again, is a vocalist who's been to a great extent and done 2 or 3 things, yet doesn't have the same weight and pull as Stallone. So placing their name in a similar sentence sort of feels odd, right? Well, it turns out they share one thing practically speaking. Uncovering the ills in media outlets is the Illuminati genuine. Is that a genuine article? I mean, you can give it the name you need to give it. I call it, you see? Jag began this thing some time ago, yet was excused as a psychological patient, and her proclamations were criticized anyway. It seems a large number of big names are starting to see the light, and are holding hands with the vocalist to coordinate that light onto the dim pieces of Hollywood. One of such famous people is Sylvester Stallone, once the dear kid of Hollywood. The notorious entertainer, as of late, stirred up the flames when he co-marked Jag's words on the underhandedness of the business. Many were shocked, particularly coming from a cool, completely relaxed icon. For example, when everybody had some misgivings about the entire issue, 50 Cent likewise tossed in his cap, underwriting Jag's assertions. The support from these CBS has isolated the web, with a few fans commending Stallone specifically for his boldness, while others feel that he has dared to cuckoo land. So what did Stallone and 50 Cent say that has the web humming? We should get directly into it. You can't make harmony when somebody has been really good or bad. Loathsome since the progress of the rough establishment during the 80s and 90s, Stallone and the maker of the series, Irwin Winkler, have not appreciated both perspectives. The explanation is that they can't simply appear to settle on who really possesses the establishment. The two have been at one another's necks, exchanging words at the smallest incitement during their very nearly 3 dead hamburger. Stallone has restricted his assaults to Irwin Winkler, calling him a quack and an evil individual anyway. He, as of late, seems to have broadened his assaults to the actual business, calling it blood. He has bludgeoned the elites, contrasting them with a gathering of blood who channel the existence of other industry players. He feels that they simply take advantage of whoever they can to arrange their pockets and further their plan in Hollywood, involving himself as an illustration. Stallone guaranteed that he reserved no privileges for Ruff, which was somewhat surprising to most fans. I mean, when we contemplate Ruff, the primary picture that strikes a chord is a bloodied Stallone alone on the material of a boxing ring, battling for his life anyway, from the vibe of things. Guileful will not have any heritage from the film establishment to leave for his significant other and kids. Delightful kid's lovely spouse when I'm a distant memory. This is you. This is what I made this piece of my inheritance that is never going to happen. He made sense of that he presently needed to ask Irwin Winkler for anything that he expected to do with any person, or any thought of the film in the meantime he composed and made all the characters without anyone else, including the ideology character that Wink and his kids have transformed into its own establishment, as per the Expendables entertainer. He didn't have any idea how Irwin Winkler set him in that position, since he thought the entire situation was going to the studios. However, as it turned out, Irving moved his method for getting the full privileges to the film with the backing of a few elites in the business in this way. He needs to inquire as to whether he at any point chooses to create a side project from the rough establishment with any of the characters in the film. The studio claims it how he got that. I don't realize which implies. I need to beseech him that could I at any point do this, might I at any point do that. Stallone feels that the business first class aren't absurd for him giving everything over to his foe without giving him a penny. However, he didn't say it freely. Many sources guarantee that the famous entertainer believes that Winkler did something unusual to get the arrangement. He's presently starting to imagine that the Illuminati that any semblance of Jaguar Wright and Feline Williams have been discussing is V. Eyelid. Stallone isn't agonies to make sense of how he lost his most esteemed inheritance. Perhaps Winkler bowed over at one point during his quarrel with the entertainer, which got him the freedoms to the film. Mind you, Stallone asserted in the meeting that getting the privileges was never going to happen, which implies that going the lawful course would yield no outcomes in the event that this isn't crafted by any mysterious association. What is nevertheless not all, as of late Stallone went Rambo on Hollywood for utilizing one of his famous characters, Drago, calling the choice horrendous, as I would see it so like terrible Winkler and his children had declared that they were delivering another establishment for Drago, one of Ruff's large number of anyway. The news didn't go down well with Cut Alone, who took to Instagram to enlist his dismay, sharing several screen captures of the declaration of the brilliant Globe champ. Yet again, composed by Irwin Winkler, this pitiable 94-year-old maker, and his blockhead vulture youngsters, Charles and David, are picking clean the bones of another great person I made without letting me know. He then apologized to the fans for his words, but he had a few decision words for his long-term companion, Dolph Lundgren, who might be repeating his job as Drago in the establishment. I was sorry to the fans. I never maintained that rough characters should be taken advantage of by these parasites. Stallone went on with a manner in which I once had only regard for Dolph. However, he won't ever tell me about what was happening despite my good faith in the person I made for him. Genuine companions are more valuable than gold. Stallone then, at that point, this post followed up with a progression of assaults on Irwin Winkler and his family, calling them blood after Irwin Winkler and his family. Rough dry, he composed dared to faint-hearted, be the most despised, unskilled, decrepitated, wiped-out maker in Hollywood, and his youngsters have found their next feast. Drago returned my privileges blood. He proceeded with his tirade by moving from Irwin Winkler and his children to pointing a not-so subtle poke at the Illuminati, asserting they have obliterated many lives. He called them parasites, and Block, who were just keen on arranging their pockets to the weakness of numerous spirits in Hollywood sight. Once the beginning of time, so many craftsmen in each industry recording, painting, thinking of, and so on have been annihilated by these blood who have obliterated such countless families, filling their pockets with others. He then tested his long-term companion Lundgren on his clear selling out Dolph. Why not a call parasite makers took advantage of craftsman casualties. This is evidently what Jaguar Wright has been saying throughout recent years. The Illuminati run the world like divine beings and exploit individuals. They all need to be divine beings. You realize they need to run the world. In her assessment, the Illuminati just bless individuals who join their club and participate in dim and detestable deeds to satisfy the tip-top. Such individuals generally get the greatest piece of the cake and procure all the acclaim and brilliance that Hollywood can offer. The individuals who will not twist around are, in many cases, left on the edges of the business, scrambling for disintegrates that tumble from the table of the strong. Jag has guaranteed that the tip-top were annihilating the industry and the existence of individuals who rely upon it. She has really uncovered a couple of individuals she views as tip-top and has languished over it as of late. She was captured and shipped off prison previously. She was delivered with a large number of her fans, feeling that the elites had at long last broken through to her eye in a real sense, had cuffs placed on me stand by that morning while we were at the front disappearing the theft. A specialist that he was following us and the lodging live on the web anyway. She just a short time before she was liberated on a Z security, and from that point forward, she has shown up ready to brawl. She's done a progression of meetings where she dug into the issues encompassing Jay's and Diddy, which many fans find eye-opening. Curiously, Sylvester Stallone isn't the one in particular who's co-marked Jag's words, another top VIP who seems to have embraced right proclamations about the fiendish end. The business is 50 Cent. The rapper has throughout the years been on Diddy and Jay-Z's case, uncovering them for their supposed malicious deeds. He was one of only a handful of exceptional rappers who transparently talked about Diddy's S-boated in the media. He take me schminimal, an organic product pop. Now this clasp was around quite a while back. However, its message is felt today. A couple of men have emerged to outpuff for attempting to drive himself on them from that point forward. The 48-year-old has proceeded to uncover the fiendish in the business, having been a casualty himself in the beginning phases of his profession. You all recollect how he was shot on various occasions in 2000 after a dark passage endeavor pulled up before his home and released out. Damnation of projectiles. Like I said, I realized after 50 had chance, I just pulled up to the block, and it was shells. I thought he was dead at the time. Many individuals had caught wind of him and had tipped him to buck. The new rap lord of New York, Even in the clinic, business leaders were scrambling to make his mark, with Columbia Records coming out on top in the race. However, they needed to drop him. 50 was boycotted from each studio in the US since some higher-ups didn't maintain that his vocation should advance. Consequently, he needed to migrate to Canada to start from the very beginning. In Canada, the rapper delivered around 30 mixtapes to get ready to make a splash in a meeting with Headquarters Imprint. Lil made sense of how he did it. He took every one of the most sizzling beats from each craftsman and flipped them with better. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.